The galaxy had many secrets: old wars, ancient ruins, forbidden weapons hidden away so no one would ever use them again. But the greatest secret was not a weapon at all. It was a machine that could bend the stars themselves. The warp drive. The Galactic Council had guarded it for thousands of years. It was too dangerous, too powerful, too unstable. They told the young races of the galaxy, "Warp is not for you. You are not ready." Even the older empires obeyed, fearing the chaos if the secret spread. The Council kept the blueprints locked in vaults. The working engines were fitted only to a few select ships, hidden under layers of protection. No one was allowed near them. They believed the machine was impossible to copy. Its design was twisted, like something from a dream. Its parts were alive, bending dimensions, folding energy into shapes that made no sense. To most minds, it was madness. Even the best alien scientists looked at it and gave up. But then, something happened. A council ship carrying one of the warp engines was destroyed near a small blue planet. The wreck drifted in the dark, broken, forgotten, until humans found it. At first, the aliens thought little of it. "The humans are new," they whispered. "They are weak. They will not understand." But deep down, some felt fear. Humanity had a reputation. They were not like other species. They were reckless, curious, stubborn. And when they saw something strange, they did not worship it, they did not fear it, they touched it. The human engineers stood around the wreck for hours. The machine hummed with a strange pulse. The air around it bent light in odd ways. The council had designed it so no outsider could even begin to read its systems. Yet the humans didn't hesitate. One of them laughed, tapping the broken casing. "It's just an engine," he said. "It's broken, let's fix it." And just like that, the galaxy's greatest secret was no longer safe. The humans worked with wild energy. Where an alien would study for centuries, humans grabbed tools and pried it open. Sparks flew, gears screamed, the engine groaned like a beast. But the humans did not stop. They pulled wires, traced circuits, argued loudly, sketched strange drawings on scraps of paper. It was chaos, but in that chaos was something the galaxy had never seen. Progress. Every race that had touched the warp drive before treated it like a holy object. They whispered, they feared, they obeyed rules. But humans had no rules. To them, it was not holy. It was just another puzzle, and puzzles were meant to be solved. The council heard the news and panicked. They called emergency meetings. "This cannot be," they shouted. "The humans will destroy themselves, and if they succeed, they will destroy us all." But no one dared stop them. From orbit, alien spies watched the humans. They expected fire, explosions, death. But instead, they saw something worse. They saw progress faster than anyone thought possible. Where others failed in a lifetime, humans advanced in days. Where others gave up, humans pushed harder. Within a week, they had mapped half the engine. Within 2 weeks, they had theories on how it worked. Within a month, they were building a new version piece by piece using their own materials. The galaxy was horrified. How could this be? The warp engine had been designed to confuse, to break the mind, to resist copying. But humans were different. Their minds did not break. They bent. They twisted. They found new paths where others saw walls. One alien diplomat whispered in fear, "They are not learning it. They are rewriting it." Indeed, the human version of the warp engine began to look nothing like the original. It was sleeker, stronger, fitted with strange human modifications. They didn't just understand the machine, they improved it. The council debated war. Some argued they must destroy Earth before the humans could finish. Others said it was already too late. The humans had touched the secret, and once humanity touched something, it was never the same again. In the labs, the human engineers kept going. Nights without sleep. Hands burned from sparks. Eyes glowing with excitement. Every failure was just another step closer. They argued. They laughed, they cursed. But above all, they never stopped. The galaxy had called the warp engine a secret weapon. A thing too powerful for young races. But to humans, It was just another challenge. And challenges were not meant to be hidden. They were meant to be conquered. As the weeks passed, one truth spread across the stars. Humanity would not give up. Humanity would not stop. Humanity had taken the Council's secret weapon and turned it into their own. And soon the first human-built warp ship would rise. The galaxy watched in silence, fear in their hearts. They knew what it meant. The moment the humans switched it on, the galaxy would change forever. Because the secret weapon was no longer a secret. The Alien Council had always believed the warp engine was unbreakable. Not unbreakable in the sense of strength, but in the sense of understanding. It was like a puzzle with no edges, a language with no grammar, a song with no beginning or end. No one could ever take it apart without losing their mind. That was the belief. That was the rule. But humans never cared about rules. The wrecked engine sat in a massive human hangar. Lights glared down on the broken machine. Its surface still glowed faintly, as if alive. Alien metals twisted around themselves, overlapping in impossible patterns. Pipes bent in curves that made no logical sense. Symbols etched into its core seemed to shift when you stared too long. It was madness to touch it, madness to even try, and yet the humans surrounded it like children around a toy. "Let's pull it open," one said. "Careful, it's hot," another replied, reaching anyway. They began cutting. Sparks exploded. The air filled with smoke. Instead of fear, the humans grinned. They shouted ideas over one another. They scribbled numbers on the floor. They pointed and argued. Where other species treated the warp drive like a holy relic, humans treated it like a broken car engine. To them, it wasn't untouchable. It was just broken, and broken things could always be fixed. Piece by piece, they tore it down. Wires came, out like tangled roots. Gears fell with heavy clanks. The engine screamed as if alive, releasing bursts of unstable energy. The aliens watching from orbit thought Earth would explode. But the humans, they laughed. They cursed. They called for more tools. They drank coffee and kept going. Days passed. The pile of removed parts grew taller. Soon the alien machine lay naked, its heart exposed. The galaxy had said this was impossible. The galaxy had said no one could even begin. Yet humans had done it in days. The scientists sent their first report. "The device is not one engine," they said. "It is many engines woven into one. But it has flaws. We see them clearly. Flaws." That word spread like fire. To the Council, it was blasphemy. The warp engine had no flaws. It was perfect, designed by the greatest minds across centuries. Yet the humans pointed out weaknesses as if it were obvious. One human tapped a circuit with a wrench. "This is inefficient," he said. "We can do better." Better. No alien had ever dared say such a thing. To them, the warp engine was already beyond perfection. But humans were never satisfied. Within weeks, the impossible became ordinary. The scientists not only mapped the alien technology, they rewrote it in their own language. Equations that once melted alien minds were scribbled casually on whiteboards. Energy patterns that once spent logic were drawn in chalk on sidewalks for students to study. The Council was horrified. How could humans take something impossible and make it look easy? And then came the first prototype. The human-built warp drive looked nothing like the alien one. The original was bulky, twisting, almost alive. The human version was sharp, efficient, simple in design. Where the alien machine folded dimensions like tangled knots, the human machine sliced through them like a blade. The Council debated day and night. Some screamed for war, others begged for patience. But all agreed on one thing. If the humans succeeded, the balance of power would end. Empires would fall. The galaxy itself would change. Meanwhile, in the human labs, the energy tests began. The first attempt nearly destroyed the building. The second burned half the instruments. The third bent metal walls into strange shapes. But failure did not stop them. To humans, every failure was not the end. It was progress. The engineers grew, wilder, but also more focused. Their eyes burned with sleepless fire. Their hands shook with exhaustion but never let go of their tools. They worked in shifts but often refused to leave, driven by something more powerful than orders. Curiosity, hunger, a need to break limits. Aliens had tried to understand the warp drive for centuries with calm and order, and failed. Humans attacked it with chaos, mistakes, and stubborn will, and won. At last, the day came when the prototype roared to life. Lights flickered, air rippled, space itself trembled. The small human machine didn't just work, it worked smoother than the original. Stable, controlled. The aliens spying from orbit froze in terror. They whispered the unthinkable. The humans did not just learn it, they rebuilt it. On Earth, the scientists cheered. They clapped each other on the back. They celebrated like children who had solved a puzzle. To them, it was just another invention. To the galaxy, it was the birth of a storm, because the impossible had been broken and the humans were just getting started. Fear spread faster than light. From hidden satellites, from cloaked ships, from whispers carried through space, the news traveled across the galaxy. Humans had done the unthinkable. They had taken the Council's most protected machine, the warp drive, and turned it into their own invention. In weeks, they had done what countless species failed to do in centuries, and now, every empire in the stars was afraid. The Council chambers trembled with arguments. Leaders shouted, tails lashed, claws slammed against tables. Some demanded an invasion at once before Earth could rise too high. "Strike now," they cried. "Burn their world before they build more engines." Others shook their heads in terror. If they could take it apart so quickly, what will they do if we attack? What if they build weapons we cannot even imagine? For the first time in thousands of years, the Great Council did not know what to do. The humans, of course, knew nothing of these debates. Or perhaps, they simply did not care. In their underground labs, the engines screamed with energy. The engineers kept working, chasing the next improvement. Their laughter echoed through metal corridors, their arguments thundered like war drums. To them, it was not about power. It was about solving a puzzle, about breaking limits, about seeing what lay beyond the stars. But the galaxy did not see puzzle solvers. It saw monsters. The word spread among the smaller species first. Traders, explorers, wanderers, they whispered it in fear. Humans have broken the sacred engine. Whole planets banned human ships from their ports. Merchant guilds refused to sell them supplies. Armies doubled their patrols at the edge of human space. Even pirates who feared no one avoided Earth, because every race knew one truth. If humans could rebuild warp engines in weeks, then what else could they rebuild? What other secrets could they shatter? Admirals stared at maps of human space, their hands shaking. Politicians lost sleep, wondering if Earth would one day knock at their door with ships faster and stronger than anything they possessed. Religious leaders declared humanity a danger to the balance of the cosmos, calling them children of chaos. Still others whispered something even darker: admiration. A few species watched the humans with awe instead of fear. They saw not madness but brilliance, not danger but destiny. Quietly, in the shadows, these races sent spies and envoys to Earth, not to stop the humans but to learn from them. The Council tried to keep the secret locked. They censored reports, silenced broadcasts, threatened entire colonies. But fear is hard to silence, and in the dark corners of the galaxy, a dangerous idea spread. If the humans can do this, maybe they are not just another young race. Maybe they are the race that will change everything. Meanwhile, the humans kept pushing. Their first warp test had been stable, smooth. But to them, stable was not enough. They wanted faster, stronger, safer. They wanted an engine that could be built in every shipyard, installed in every vessel, flown by every pilot. While the Council argued in fear, humans built in hunger. The second prototype was nearly ready. Bigger, sharper, designed not just for one jump, but for endless travel. The human scientists smiled with pride, never realizing that across the stars, fleets were gathering. Yes, while humans celebrated, the council began to move in secret. War fleets were assembled, massive ships pulled from dry dock, weapons armed. They did not announce it, they did not vote on it, but slowly, silently, the galaxy prepared for the worst. Because to the council, there was no other choice. If humans launched their warp ship, the balance would be broken forever. But the humans were not afraid. They had no fear of failure, no fear of mistakes, no fear of rules. They believed only in progress. And when progress meant ripping apart the galaxy's greatest secret, they did it with a smile. Above Earth, in orbit, alien spies sent their final reports home. Their voices shook as they spoke. The humans have rebuilt it. They are ready for their first long-range test. And in the council chambers, silence fell. Every leader, every general, every emperor and queen knew the truth. The moment the humans engaged their new engine, the galaxy would never be the same. Some prayed it would fail. Others prayed it would destroy the humans. But deep down, everyone feared the same thing. What if it worked? What if the humans succeeded again? That thought, that single terrible thought, spread across the stars like a shadow, and in its darkness, whole empires trembled, because fear was no longer a whisper. It was everywhere, fear of humanity. The day of the first test came like a storm. On Earth, the human engineers gathered around their creation. It no longer looked like the alien wreck they had first pulled from the stars. This engine was different. Sleek metal, sharp lines, glowing coils of human design. It hummed with power, alive yet controlled. It was not a copy. It was a reinvention. The chosen ship was small, a test vessel barely larger than a freighter. Painted white, patched with scars, it was never meant to carry the future of humanity. Yet now it did. Attached to its spine was the human-built warp engine, humming with raw energy, waiting for its first jump. Inside the control room, human scientists argued one last time. Some worried the ship would tear apart. Others believed it would vanish into nothing. A few feared it might never come back. But no one suggested stopping, not one. The hunger to know what lay beyond was stronger than fear. High above Earth, the ship floated into position. Cameras from every nation focused on it. Millions watched live. Billions waited in silence. In every home, in every city, people held their breath. Humanity was about to test a power that had been forbidden for centuries. And across the galaxy, others watched too. From hidden ships cloaked near Earth, alien spies observed, sending every detail back to their empires. The council fleets, hidden beyond the edge of human space, prepared their weapons. Some admirals whispered, "If it fails, we are safe. If it works, we strike." The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. The ship's crew strapped in, faces pale but determined. 7, 6, 5. The engine roared louder, shaking the metal hull. 4, 3, 2. The lights across Earth dimmed as the warp engine drank power, like a starving beast. 1. The ship jumped. Space itself screamed. Light bent. Stars twisted. The vessel vanished in a ripple of energy. For one breathless moment, silence fell. On Earth, people stared at the sky, praying. In the council chambers, leaders clutched their claws and whispered desperate prayers of their own. Then, the ship reappeared, not destroyed, not broken, whole, perfect. The crew's voices came through the speakers, steady and calm. "Test successful," they said. "Warp jump complete, engine stable." For a long time, Earth was silent. Then cheers exploded across the planet. Cities erupted in celebration. Bells rang, horns sounded, people shouted into the night sky. Humanity had done it. The forbidden power of the galaxy was now theirs. But the reaction outside Earth was very different. In the shadows of space, alien spies panicked. They sent urgent messages home. The humans have done it, their engine works. Fleets hidden near the borders received the order to move closer. Admirals began plotting routes for invasion. Politicians screamed in fear, demanding answers. Because the humans had not just matched the alien design, they had improved it. The test logs showed stability never seen before. The engine was not just working, it was better than the original. One alien scientist reading the report whispered in horror, "They are not copying us, they are surpassing us." And the council knew it was true. Back on Earth, the scientists refused to stop at one test. Within days, they launched the second. This time the ship jumped farther beyond the moon, beyond Mars, across a gulf of space. No human ship had ever crossed so quickly. Again, the ship returned unharmed. Again, the engine proved itself. By the third test, the humans were no longer cautious. They laughed as they prepared the ship. They spoke of traveling to distant stars, of colonizing worlds, of building fleets faster than anyone could imagine. Their eyes burned with excitement, but their laughter carried across the galaxy like thunder. To the council, it was not laughter, it was a warning. In their chambers, the vote was called. The debate was short. They all knew what was at stake. "If humans spread this technology," one leader hissed, "the galaxy will belong to them. We will be nothing." Another shouted, "We must strike before their fleets are built. Now, before it is too late." The fleets prepared. Massive ships armed with weapons strong enough to shatter worlds. Silent engines carrying them toward the edge of human space. Their mission was simple: destroy Earth before humanity became unstoppable. But still, the humans had no idea. They celebrated, blind to the storm forming in the dark. They raised their glasses. They toasted their success. They spoke of the future with fire in their voices. And in the stars, the galaxy held its breath. Because the first test had not just proven the engine worked. It had proven something far more terrifying. The humans had not just unlocked warp travel, they had rewritten it. And the galaxy knew it was already too late to stop them. The galaxy had seen wars. It had seen empires rise and fall. It had seen weapons that burned worlds and machines that crushed stars. But nothing compared to what happened when the humans succeeded with warp. Because this was not just a weapon. This was freedom. When word spread that Earth had done the impossible, the galaxy broke into chaos. Entire star systems fell silent. Armies prepared for war. Traders refused to cross near human space. And in the hidden halls of the council, leaders whispered one truth they did not dare say out loud before. The balance was gone. Every empire had lived under the same rules. The council held the secrets, controlled the power, made sure no one grew too fast. But now the humans had shattered those rules. And they had done it in weeks, with broken scraps and stubborn hands. On Earth, humanity celebrated like never before. Cities lit with fireworks. Families stood under the stars, dreaming of journeys that once seemed impossible. Children pointed at the night sky and asked, "Which star will we visit first?" But while Earth dreamed, the galaxy prepared to strike. The fleets gathered at the edge of human space. Great ships armed with weapons that could level continents. Armies of soldiers trained to kill without mercy. Commanders swore to crush humanity before their fire spread. Yet even as they prepared, fear gnawed at them, because deep down they knew what made humans different. It was not their weapons, it was not their ships. It was their minds. Where other races saw walls, humans saw doors. Where others obeyed, humans defied. Where others gave up, humans began again. And so the fear grew darker. Because what if war only pushed humans harder? What if the fire they lit could not be put out? The first human fleet was already being built. Not huge, not endless, but fast. Each ship fitted with the new warp engine. Each one faster, stronger, more stable than anything the galaxy had. It was not a fleet of numbers. It was a fleet of innovation, and that made it unstoppable. The smaller races whispered in secret. Some begged the council to stop. Others sent hidden messages to Earth. offering friendship, hoping to be allies rather than enemies. A few even prayed that humanity would become their shield against the great empires. The council saw this with fury. Their control was slipping. The humans had not just built an engine, they had lit a fire of rebellion across the stars. One council leader slammed his claws on the table. "We cannot let this stand. If they spread their engines to others, our empire is finished." Another whispered, "It is already finished. The moment they touched that machine, it was over." But still, they prepared for war. And yet, the humans, they did not prepare for war. They prepared for travel, for discovery, for spreading out into the unknown. They built their fleets not as weapons, but as explorers. They spoke not of conquest, but of curiosity. They wanted to see, to learn, to go where no one else dared. That was the part the galaxy could not understand. Humans did not fear the unknown. They chased it. The day came when the first true human fleet gathered above Earth. Dozens of ships, engines glowing, hulls shining. Billions watched from below, hearts pounding. Humanity was ready to step beyond its cage. And the galaxy trembled. The council fleets hid in the dark, waiting to strike. But no order came. No commander dared give the signal, because in their hearts, they already knew what it meant. If humans had broken the galaxy's greatest secret in weeks, then nothing could stop them. Not now. Not ever. The human fleet jumped together, a flash of light, a ripple in the stars, and they were gone. To the humans, it was the beginning of a new age. To the galaxy, it was the beginning of fear, because they all knew what had just happened. The humans had taken apart the galaxy's most guarded weapon. They had rebuilt it, improved it, and claimed it as their own. They had broken the rules that held empires in place, and worse, humans were smiling as they did it. The galaxy realized the truth at last. Humanity was not just another young race. They were not reckless children playing with fire. They were something far more dangerous. They were builders. They were dreamers. They were unstoppable. And from that day on, one thought haunted every corner of the stars. If humans could do this with one stolen engine, what would they do with the rest of the galaxy's secrets? The answer was terrifying, because the galaxy finally understood. Nothing could ever stop humanity now.